Eleanor Mitchell, an 80-year-old widow, lived alone in a small town in Pennsylvania. Ever since her husband, Henry, passed away, her days had become a routine of silence. Wake up, drink tea, read the newspaper, watch the news, and go to bed. Her home, once filled with laughter and warmth, felt more like a museum of memories. Henry's favorite armchair sat untouched. His books, still lined up neatly on the shelf, gathered dust, but none of it brought her comfort. Loneliness had wrapped around her like an old quilt she couldn't shake off. One chilly evening, as Eleanor took out the trash, she heard a faint meow. She turned and saw a small orange tabby cat sitting on her porch. It tilted its head and stared at her as if it had been waiting. Eleanor sighed. "I don't do pets." The cat blinked slowly, unimpressed. She turned back toward the house, but before she could shut the door, the cat walked right in as if it belonged there. "Oh, for heaven's sake," Eleanor muttered. Little did she know, this cat wasn't just another stray. It had a purpose. The next morning, Eleanor expected the cat to be gone. It wasn't. It sat on Henry's chair, grooming itself. Eleanor shook her head. "You're getting too comfortable." The cat meowed. "You hungry?" Another meow. Eleanor sighed, poured a little milk into a bowl and set it down. The cat didn't touch it. Instead, it hopped onto the table and nudged the old newspaper Eleanor had been reading. Eleanor frowned. "What? You don't like my reading material?" The cat meowed and tapped the obituary section with its paw. Eleanor's breath caught. That was Henry's strange habit. Every morning he'd check the obituaries, not out of morbid curiosity, but to remind himself to appreciate life. Eleanor swallowed hard. "Henry used to do that." The cat simply purred. Days passed, and Eleanor found herself talking to the cat. At first, it was simple stuff. "Cold today, huh?" Or, "Henry used to love this show." But soon, the conversations became deeper. "I miss him, you know." The cat blinked slowly as if it understood. One night, Eleanor sat in Henry's chair, the cat curled in her lap. "I think he'd like you," she said softly. The cat meowed. Eleanor chuckled. "Oh, so now you talk back?" But deep down, a thought nagged at her. This cat wasn't normal. It knew things. One morning, the cat refused to let Eleanor sit inside all day. It pawed at the door, meowing loudly. "You want me to go out?" Eleanor asked. The cat chirped. Eleanor sighed. "Fine, but don't get used to this." For the first time in months, Eleanor took a walk through town. As she passed the bakery, the owner, Mrs. Reynolds, gasped. "Eleanor, I haven't seen you in ages." She handed her a warm muffin on the house. Further down, she ran into old friends from the senior center. "Mitchell, we thought you disappeared." They invited her to game night. Eleanor hadn't realized how much she had isolated herself, and through it all, the cat trotted beside her, like a tiny orange guardian. One evening, Eleanor sat with the cat in her lap. "I think I get it now," she said. "I was supposed to find you, huh?" The cat purred. "You brought me back to life." The cat licked her hand. That night, Eleanor slept peacefully for the first time in years. But the next morning, when she woke up, the cat was gone. Eleanor searched everywhere. She even checked with neighbors. Nothing. Then, As she walked back inside, she noticed something. A small porcelain cat figurine sat on Henry's chair, one she had never seen before. Her breath caught, and in that moment, Eleanor smiled, because she understood. Some visitors aren't meant to stay forever. Some are just here to remind us how to live again.